My wife called me a useless husband to her friends, but what I found in her work group chat was so much worse. She even turned me into a humiliating meme, plus 4 updates. My wife, who is 41 female, and I, 42 male, have been married for 15 years. I apparently surprised her by being capable of doing household chores and tasks, which I didn't think much of. My mom always asked me to help out with chores when I was a kid, so I didn't think it was beneath me or anything. I do think I inherited her need to clean excessively, to the point where I can't eat until a mess is dealt with. My mom is an amazing cook, my aunt was a literal chef at a fancy hotel, and my dad loved having barbecues. It was pretty natural to learn from them and pick up a thing or two. The only thing I didn't pick up was how to make a decent cup of tea or coffee. I'm genuinely awful at it. It got to a point where I was handling most of the household chores and taking care of cooking, which I prefer anyways since she comes home exhausted. I've been asking our children, who are 11 female and 9 male, to do some minor tasks around the house and hopefully teach them this sort of thing too. My wife has a group of friends who hang out regularly, and this time it was her turn to host them at our home. I offered to take our children out for the day, and it was all set. Before we left, I had to finish up some things for work. The office space is practically on top of our living room, so I could hear what they were talking about the entire time. One of the friends asked how she always kept our house so spotless, and my wife just bragged about how she was responsible for it all. Then they all started talking about their gripes with their marriages, and a common theme was how unhelpful their spouses were. I felt pretty uncomfortable, so I just left the office and went out with the kids. I came back after they had left for the night and acted as normal until we got to our bedroom. I asked her what was up with that conversation and pointed out that I did the cooking and cleaning in our marriage. She told me not to take it personally and that she just wanted to fit in with the struggles of her friends. Now I just feel unappreciated, especially since I don't clearly remember any genuine gratitude from her for what I do. Since then, she's been pretty short with me. She says I'm weaponizing what I'm doing against her and holding it over her head. I don't expect her to compliment me each time I clean or defend me religiously, just a little. My husband is pretty helpful actually, he does his shares, would be nice. I can't help but feel like her friends think I'm some sort of deadbeat who comes home to relax and neglect her. Update. I'm pretty shocked this post went as viral as it did, and I tried my best to speak to my wife yesterday. I just can't believe that this is the woman I married. I tried speaking with her, telling her that what she did wasn't that big of a deal but was still not a nice thing to do. She didn't like me bringing it up again and just told me to suck it up and stop complaining about one mistake. She apologized, but in a tone that just sounded like she was tired of dealing with this. I noticed her getting very heated and on the verge of starting an argument, so I backed off and switched to a different topic. I asked if we could adjust our duties at home to be more fair for both of us, since most of our management fell to me. Pretty much 90% of things like cooking and cleaning, including planning for our date nights or family vacations, rely on me. I do think it's an issue that she gets to come home and just tell me that she's tired. Then she got up in my face, telling me I had no right to lecture her about chore duties when I'm practically at home most of the time. She completely refused to hear me out and basically told me that what we have works best for our situation. She threw it in my face that she was the moneymaker and that balanced everything out in the end. For some context, we both work. She makes about $100,000 a year while I make around $70,000. She earns more, but she's definitely not the only income in our household. What makes my job great is that my boss lets me have a lot of flexibility, so I can work from home and take care of the house and kids as long as I give him a heads up. Even this morning, she was pretty annoyed with me, coming downstairs in a bad mood. I'm very sure our kids noticed it too, but I drove them to school after they got ready. When I got back, I noticed that my wife had left her packed lunch on our kitchen counter. So now I'm sitting here just feeling like the woman I've known for 15 years hates me. I guess I'll have to push this issue properly even if she gets angry. She's been ignoring my texts and attempts to call her. I can't just let her act like this, especially in front of our children. Update, I think I'm just done at this point. I did something I never did before and went into her phone while she slept. We both know each other's passwords, so it wasn't really difficult. Some of the cheating comments got to me and I felt pretty paranoid about this situation. Instead, I found a group chat with some of her work friends who were different from the other friends she had over. It was just non-stop mockery of me and some of the stuff I did for her. She told them how embarrassed she feels to be with me and that I dote on her like a parent and don't feel like her husband. The lunches I pack for her are humiliating because I add sweets and other treats I know she likes. Some of her coworkers teased her about the snacks, and she admitted to just throwing them out at work. She doesn't have any issue eating them at home, but at work she throws out my baking. She had some choice words to say about me in her chat, some of which I don't have the courage to type out here. One of her meme pictures was of me on my knees scrubbing a bathroom tile, edited to have some sort of dress on, like I was some sort of housewife from the 1960s or something. I just closed her phone and left the bedroom. I confronted her about the chat and its contents in the morning, which got her panicking. I focused on our kids this morning and left her to her own devices. It's not like she would have appreciated a kid's lunch anyways. Now she's texting me like crazy at the office, but I think I lost all respect for her and what she's become. Not only does she find me overbearing and embarrassing as a husband, but then I find out she mocks me to her friends and exposes sensitive relationship issues to her group chat. This will probably be the last update, since I don't think she can come back from this. We just celebrated our 15th anniversary last month too. I feel like a loser now after seeing what my wife actually thinks of me. Update. I know I'm going to get some hate for my decision at the end of this all, but I gave my wife one more chance. She gave me a real apology for her actions and how she treated me about 2 weeks ago. In her own words, she let her friends' comments at work and her best friends affect her too much. My wife wanted to feel included in the groups by playing both sides, one that has a useless husband and one that has a clingy husband. She's not using them as an excuse and did take full responsibility for how poorly she treated me, which is a plus. She suggested some sort of marriage counseling for us and insisted on doing the planning herself to show me she's dead serious on wanting to make this work. She's copied me in her communications with a counselor, but it'll still be a while before our first appointment. She's stepped up in the home too, doing more tasks without me asking. The compliments I used to get have also made a return, so I do feel a little more appreciated. My wife promised me that she wouldn't lie to her friend group anymore and would give me the credit I deserve. The work friends, I don't know about. Their opinions on me will forever be as they are, even though she talked to them. Part of this feels disingenuous, since it took us getting into a bad spot for this to happen. Maybe it's just resentment talking. I just hope this works out for our sake and the kids. And no, she has not been cheating or had some guy in her ear telling her things. A lot of private messages were asking about that. Update. In short, my wife and I went through our first marriage counseling session. At first, it was extremely awkward having to talk about our problems to someone outside our marriage. It's a bit silly, considering I'm here doing it on Reddit, but in person with zero anonymity is something else. I won't say everything that we discussed, but my wife ended up sharing her thought processes on how things escalated this far. Years of her having me do most of the things in our home had left her complacent, so she took me for granted. Our marriage counselor suggested that both of us find some individual therapy. Her for her tendency to try and fit in everywhere, and me for trying to take on everything without wanting to ask for any help. We both like our counselor, so we'll be visiting her again for another appointment. That's something we're still working on, but for now we've been taking things a bit more evenly in regards to everything in our relationship. Chores are split at around 70-30, and we're planning a cooking schedule that's fair for both of us. What I'm really happy about is her taking the initiative with our dates again. Now it doesn't feel like a one-sided effort. I can't wait for her to be the one leading the romance. She's also set the record straight with her group of friends, so I'm not a useless husband to them. That was also pretty awkward, but no one reacted in a dramatic way. The only issues are her work friends. She's on the lookout for a better job, not for pay, but just looking for a less unhealthy work environment. I just wanted to thank you for the support and advice I've gotten from you all. I have a good feeling that we can make it through this.